Alright guys, today is Friday, December 2nd, and this is going to be just a quick recap of this week and the long positions that we're holding. So last week on Monday, I made a video talking about this support level, and I'll start off by drawing this trend line for you right now. Let me just cue this up. I took this support to this resistance, and I was talking about this level. I don't know if you guys remember that previous video where I was talking about getting a pullback to this trend line and then a continuation up higher. So once we started getting this pullback right here, I went long. I took a long at 1.0240, which proved to be a perfect long entry with a 100 pip stop. And then once the market started heading up, I added a second position at 1.036. I think 63 or 65, one of those. I thought it was earlier than that. I thought I took a long position, a second one at 1.0320 or 325, but it was a bit higher than that. So I went into detail about how we were going to get I would like to see a continuation up. Now, we made a this previous resistance right here, the market ended up stalling up and pulling back, and I went into detail about how this trend line was going to be, our floor, meaning if I see the market going below this trend line, then I was going to get out immediately. But as long as it stood above it, then it would show strength. The bulls would continue higher, and we would head up to 1.07 or 1.08, somewhere in this zone. So going to the calendar real quick, this is what we had for this week, and this is why I felt that the market was going to make a move. So Tuesday, we had that CB consumer confidence, and the market really didn't do anything. I think that was, let me see, I think that's this candle right here. And I talked about the market not making any kind of significant moves yet because we had NFP on Friday, which is today, and then we had some other economic data on Wednesday and Thursday. And plus, Federal Reserve Chairman Powell spoke on Wednesday, which you'll see in a second created an up move, created more bullish momentum. So if I move forward with that, you can see this up move here, and then a second strong move right after that. And I was talking about making a completely higher high than these two levels right here. Now today was the NFP, so I was expecting for the market to make a really strong continuation higher, but it actually made a rejection. But at the end of the day, the bulls crept all the way much higher, which made a lower wick. You'll see that right over here. Let me get rid of this replay. You can see the strong wick. So the bears did try to overtake the bulls at one point, but you can see that finally the bulls it was just too much strength, and this ended up becoming a green candle, even though it's this long wick. So right now, in a combination of both the long positions, it's both standing about 466 pips to the upside, and I'm expecting a continued move to the upside. Don't know how we're going to get there. Maybe we'll see a red candle and it'll start, fiddling here around this pivotal level, and then continue higher, or it may, move straight up high, straight up to the upper these median levels right here. Or maybe it could be completely wrong and the market just makes a turnaround. But from what I see, since it made a significantly higher close above these levels here, I feel that right now the bulls are definitely in control. Now the stop over here is kind of interesting, because if you looked at a few videos ago, I was talking about going short up here in this wick, and I'm going to replay that right now so you guys can see what I'm talking about. I'll go back to my dynamic trend line here and draw this out for you. Just give me 1 second to get this in there. I was talking about making this short right over here at this trend line, and also that pivotal level. So I did go short. You can see that wick, and then I didn't like it because I just felt like just something about it just didn't sit right with me. Maybe it was a trader intuition or whatever the case is, but I ended up taking up 81 pips once the market pulled all the way back, I just didn't feel like this up move was done yet. So if I forward all the way through, you can see all the way up to NFP. You can see it went straight up to that trend line again, and it was trying to test it. Finally today, it got a rejection all the way down off of this trend line. But you can obviously, like I said it before, the bulls ended up taking control. Now it ended up below this trend line, but I still feel that the bulls are going to still have strength. Now, if we close above this next week and we get a pullback on this trend line, I'm going to use this trend line as my second floor and maybe add a light position to add to the two positions I'm already in. So for additional profit. So we'll see how that goes next week. There's not really much action going on in terms of economic data. You can see if I hit more here, Monday, there's just ISM services PMI. Tuesday, there's nothing. Wednesday, there's nothing. Thursday, there's nothing. Friday, you got core PPI, and consumer sentiment. So that's about it for next week. So I don't expect anything crazy next week, although that wouldn't stop the bulls from continuing higher. But what I am looking forward to is the week of Monday, December 12th, all the way through Friday, December 16th. You have inflation numbers, right? You have CPI, and CPI and core CPI. But Wednesday, the Federal Reserve is expected to again raise the interest rate, but I believe 0.5 instead of 0.75. So that's going to be interesting to see how the market's going to react to the final federal funds rate of the year. And then from there, we'll see if the market continues to gain strength or it just completely implodes and we look to go short and capture that big short move. So next week, I'm not really expecting much, but the following week, definitely there is significant data that whole entire week, Tuesday to Friday, and we'll have to see how the market reacts. So again, like I said before on my previous video, that looking at the weekly chart, if we get up here, let me remove this trend line. If we get up to this median level again, this is where I would like to take a short, and it would be a significant short. I would say, again, I don't like to project too far into the future. I just like to see the price action develop and then capture the move. But if we do end up going short here and the market starts seeing some weakness, I'm expecting at least a minimum of 500 pips to the downside, if not double that. So, but again, we'll have to wait and see. And come Monday, we'll see if we can continue higher above this trend line and create a base for support and maybe add a little light position here. Now, I'm a little wary of adding long positions I have a US account, a US regulated account, and for those who are not familiar, they have a first in, first out rule where if you do add a position up here, okay, and the initial positions down here, they'll force you to close this first position before you can close this position up here. I know it's really stupid. It's a ridiculous rule, but that's the way it is. So I guess in some ways it makes you more careful to add so many positions up here, because once you're in, you can't get out of this one unless you get out of your best position, right? So I'm going to release this this newsletter on the morning, Saturday morning, which I believe will be December 3rd. So I'm recording this on Friday night, so you guys can see it in the morning or wherever during the weekend, right? So we'll see what happens, and if we do end up going up here, that'll be a really nice profit, over 500 pips combined for two positions, and that'll make for a really nice profit, right? So we just have to see what happens with price action. So again, I'd love to hear from you guys. If you guys have any questions, I do plan on coming out with educational content and products so that you guys can understand how I view the market. It's very simple but extremely powerful. I've developed it over 14 years of trading, so I have made it really simple for myself to be able to spot long or short positions and when to stay and stick with a position or when to get out. So, you guys have any questions about that, you can email me directly, or if you want, you can contact me either on Facebook or um, LinkedIn on the internal trader page. So with that said, we'll see what happens again going forward next week, and I hope all you guys have a great weekend, and I'll see you all next